Hi, Kay. I enjoyed watching your video. I found some really good points in your video as well. You talked about God, something similar to another student, the original sin, and how that contributed to the abnormalities, and sin equated to where man fell. And in that fall, that's where the abnormalities began, and we became earthly, earthbound, and corrupt to our earth journey. Something you said that was really interesting, though. You said God is the author or the creator of psychopathology, which is a really interesting concept if you think about it. Um, to look at it from a worldview, a secular worldview, they look at it from more of a medical perspective. You look at it as, okay, here's the body, almost like a machine. How do we fix the body? Whether it be the mind or an abnormality within the system that's not functioning properly, that's contributing to the event, or something they've gone through. And we look at the technical, the physicality of everything going on, and how do we correct it from that standpoint, which is good. You treat it in a way, but you can lose sight. It's kind of like not being able to see the trees through the forest. You kind of get caught up in it. And I think that's something that religion and the spiritual journey really brings back to. When you use the Bible, it brings you back to, um, like you said, the origination, the original aspect of what it is, what it means, who it came from, who's the author. It's perfect in its development and its creation there. The scripture verse that I found was 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 17 through 18, and it was the New International Version. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. I picked that scripture verse because I think it really helps us to understand. The study that I found really showed how resiliency, religion, spirituality brings its own resiliency to disorders such as PTSD, anxiety, depression. It helps you to see things from a bigger picture. And sometimes that bigger picture allows you to take new perspective, to bring a healing touch, and to see, okay, we're here temporary, but the experience is temporary. The mental health is temporary. Everything is temporary in its format because our human journey was meant to be temporary. The spiritual journey is eternal, and therefore, these human experiences are not transferable to the spiritual element. So they're just that alone, understand that God is a loving God, that, where we came from, what is happening, these things all help us to gain a greater perspective and to help overall mental health well-being. One of the studies that I pulled was by Bradshaw, Ellison, and Flannelly, and it found a growing body of contemporary research that clearly indicated that at least some aspects of religion are associated with desirable psychological states and mental health outcomes. So they found that prayer, the frequency of prayer, understanding that God was a loving God, all contributed to positive mental health outcomes when looking at the psychopathology. When you cross religion and psychopathology, or Christianity and psychopathology, and how those things support one another for overall healing. I think it's an important element, though. I feel like you really brought some things to the forefront. That our mindset as human beings are really subject to our understanding, but God is the creator, and therefore He has the overall objective. And I think that shows. I have a legal background, so kind of like the states are subject to the federal government, inevitably. I think that's probably how this works. The mental understanding or comprehension is subject to the spiritual understanding or comprehension. Overall, I really enjoyed your video, and I look forward to learning with you. Have a good night.